Happy Easter if you are celebrating, if you are Christian. Happy Resurrection Sunday, have Resurrection Day. I know it's been Passover the last few days, celebrating Passover, and hope you had a great time celebrating whatever it is you're celebrating. Even if you're just doing the Easter egg hunt, I hope you've had a great Sunday. If you've had a parade with the big Easter hats, as they do sometimes in New York, I forgot about that. I've never actually been to one of those. But I know I think it's down at the Fifth Avenue or Park Avenue. They go with big Easter hats and all of that stuff. So if you're into that, hope you had a great day celebrating. But anyways, happy Easter. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, Mama Mia, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, it's been a few days since I have, let me put my big Easter. I forgot I had a little, like, my Easter card thingy that I made earlier. And so, yes, we're all celebrating Easter. Um, and so I haven't been on here for the last couple of days. So hope you all had a great time, whatever it is, catching up with all the Sussex stuff. I have been a little bit behind because I've been working on a couple of projects. And so as you can tell, I have not done a live in a couple of weeks. So my life has been a little bit crazy. And because at first it was just like my sinuses, and then it was like work, and it's just like, oh, so I've been having to record at some really odd hours, and sometimes some late hours, and sometimes kind of fall asleep and then have to do it the next day kind of thing. So because my life has been a bit crazy, but I am happy to be able to do record whenever I could record and be able to, do a premiere. Maybe hopefully I'll post it tonight. And so maybe we can all hang out for a few minutes if you're able, if you're not with your family. If you're doing stuff with your family, you can always catch the replay. Totally fine. But anyways, what has been going on in the world of royal, especially our faves? Well, but specifically our faves doing stuff. Now, they've been quiet. They have been under a tree, hanging out in Montecito, minding their business. And I've been so happy about that. Shutter Island is going crazy. They've run out of Harry and Meghan's headlines. So now it's like, oh, those rude Montecito Royals will not respond. Harry and Meghan have not responded to their invitation, apparently. And so I'm very happy about that. I'm like, you just stay over there, be petty. Don't answer. Don't respond. Don't go. Don't nothing. Just let them do what they do, and you just stay in Montecito and focus on yourself, your family, your kids, all of that stuff there, and let them do whatever it is they're doing over there in Shutter Island. So that's been the thing. Our faves have been quiet and just minding their business and just, doing whatever they're doing under their tree in Montecito. So kudos to them. Hope they had a great Easter. Just from the Harry and Meghan documentary, our docu-series on Netflix, they had a little Easter egg hunt, and it just was really cool to see. It's just like, oh, we're celebrating Easter, and these are a couple of pictures of 5 pictures from the Easter egg day. They were like, I guess they were doing the Easter egg hunt, and so they were planting eggs or putting eggs hiding them different places, and that's obviously Harry, Meghan, and Mama Doria and Pula and Guy. But I love their yard. It's so beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh, this let me just make it bigger. Let me just move myself. There we go. Moving myself out of the way. But I love it. I mean, I just love, and one thing I love with Harry and Meghan, they're such barefoot people. They don't like shoes. Meghan love her fancy shoes when she's going out, but when they're home, it's just bare feet. They are all about getting their feet in the dirt. I love it. They're just always walking around with no shoes. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's how I was raised in the Caribbean, but somehow I've grown out of that habit and I'm always wearing shoes or slippers. Maybe if I'm back in the Caribbean, I'll be having no shoes, but I love it, especially Harry. Harry just never liked shoes. And Megan has, and maybe she was like that before. And I, of course, before Harry, I didn't know Megan or I didn't know of her. So I don't know what her life was like before, but they're definitely people of the earth. And so this was their doing their planting eggs for their little Easter egg hunt. And so that is just, I just love that we were able to get, that they use that little video, so we're able to at least celebrate our Easter with them. Hopefully this year they're doing the same thing. That's probably what they're doing in Montecito. Hopefully, we pray that whatever they're doing, that they are having fun doing it and they're doing it together as a family. So that is the best you can hope for. So kudos to them. What else is happening? I'm telling you, the reason why I named this episode Harry and Meghan's Golden Brand, because it's like everything they touch turns to gold. And it's just like amazing. Everything that, whether it's their book or the docuseries or the podcast or whatever it is, a photo, whatever, it turns to gold, namely this. Ramona Rosales, who took the photo, Harry's cover photo for his book, she posted this on her Instagram. American Photography 39, Prince Harry by me at Ramona Rosales for Penguin Random House. Thank you, American Photography winners, for selecting this favorite shoot of last year. Always an honor to share the pages with so many respected talent. AP 39. American Photography 39. So this was American Photography. I guess this is a 39. Yeah, I guess that's why it's called 39. But this is a winner. It was selected a winner for the photography, I guess, competition. And so I'm like, of course. And so photo of Prince Harry Spare, it was among the winners for photography for Ramona. And she had two, actually. The other one is the smaller one at the bottom there. And I don't really know anything about it. It says American Photography select winners. I don't know much about what that photo is about, but that's her other photo, and that was also a winner. So she had two winners as a part of the American Photography 39, and one of them is a Spare. So excited! I'm telling you, you team up with Harry and Meghan, your whatever it is a winner. It's amazing. Their brand is just excellence overall. I mean, I remember the Rain Photography when they were doing their last engagements in the UK with Meghan in the blue dress and Harry in the suit with the blue inside. I mean, matching her dress, and they're outside walking the rain. That iconic rain umbrella photography that also won an award as well in the UK. And it's just like everything they do just turns to gold, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing. So congratulations, Ramona Rosales. Congratulations, Prince Harry. I look forward to more victories coming from Spare. I'm telling you, this book is I'm telling you, it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And many of you guys were voting for the Time 100 reader poll, and the results, just in case, I mean, again, I haven't been on here for a couple of days, so I'm assuming many of you may know this, but I was responding to comments, and someone I was responding to didn't realize. So just in case you didn't know, the results for the reader polls that everyone was voting for are out. And number one, Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan won the 2023 Time 100s poll, in which readers voted for the individuals they felt most deserved a spot on the Time annual list for the most influential people. So Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan, he won overall. And just to remind you, I mean, just about everybody who is anybody of influence in the world is on this list. I mean, Beyonce to the, I don't know, think world leaders. I mean, King Charles, even on this list. I don't think he did very well at all. He's on the list. Serena is on the list. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg is on the list. I think Elon Musk is on the list. Presidents and prime ministers and every influential person you can think of is on this list. And on this list, Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan won. He was in first place. Second place went to the Iranian women protesting for greater freedoms from the country's Islamic regime, and they garnered 3% of the votes. Followed, so kudos to them. I mean, incredible protesting and incredible fighting for women's rights in Iran. Third, it was followed by the healthcare workers. Yes, so deserved. Who came in they were followed by healthcare workers who came in third with 2% of the votes. They had been at the forefront of the global pandemic since 2020. And yes, to those healthcare workers, amazing thing that they've done. And for me, if I would even go so far as not just healthcare workers, but all essential workers, because yes, the healthcare workers definitely in those hospitals, I mean, literally saving people's lives. But also, too, those essential workers who worked in the grocery stores, the drug stores, all those places that it's like if they weren't there, we wouldn't have food. We wouldn't be able to do, so I would say all of them in there. But on this list, healthcare workers, they came in third. And our faves! Well, they put third and fourth, but I think it's actually just fourth because the healthcare workers were third. So fourth place, or as they say, third and fourth place, our faves. I was just like, whoa, again, everybody who is anybody in the world, think Beyonce and everyone else on this list. And our faves behind Shah Rukh Khan, the Iranian protesters and healthcare workers, our faves come right in behind them. And it's just like, you go, our faves. Third and fourth, or maybe just fourth, place went to Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, each of whom earned 1.9% of the vote. The Duke of Sussex made headlines in January after the release of his memoir, Spare, which recounts the monumental moments ranging from Princess Diana's death in 1997 to Queen Elizabeth's death in September. He is also known for founding the Invictus Games, an international sporting competition for wounded, injured, and sick service people. Meghan Markle, a former actress turned humanitarian, or she was always a humanitarian, really, but okay, now host of her own podcast, Archetypes, where her mission is to investigate, dissect, and subvert the labels that try to hold women back. She previously narrated a Disney documentary, Elephants, and has been an advocate for anti-racism and women's rights. The couple has launched a non-for-profit Archwell as well as Archwell Productions, which has creative partnership with Netflix. And so absolutely awesome. And of course, they mentioned Disney Elephants, which had its third birthday a few days ago. I think it was on the last episode I mentioned that. Third year out. So if you haven't seen Elephants, definitely see Elephants. I was actually watching the Harry and Meghan some of it actually, Harry and Meghan documentary today. I love that thing so much. But kudos to our awesome faves. I'm like, oh my goodness, of all those dignitaries and all of those people that are on that list, our faves are fourth or third and fourth. But it's just absolutely wonderful. I'm telling you, and this is the poll that you need because, they like to say like, oh, Meghan and Harry's popularity are diminishing. People don't like them anymore. They are low in the polls. And I was like, your king was on this poll, your king was on the list, and your king did not make it. Look at all the influential people. I mean, just about every influential person in the world was on that list, and our faves are number 3 and 4, or number 4, whatever. But anyways, our fave beat them all except Shah Rukh Khan and Iranian women, and of course there's healthcare workers. So, but I am just so proud of us voting for them, and proud of them for the work that they're doing. It's so great to see them honored and just applauded and appreciated for what they do. People around the world appreciate them. So awesome. Bragging rights, bragging. Oh yeah, the others, apart from King Charles, the others weren't on that list, so we won't mention them. So there. Moving on. Let's see what else we have. Oh, library Twitter. Me and my library Twitter is totally here. SCLS New Jersey, NJ, New Jersey. According to recent stats, Somerset, New Jersey's got a royal fever. Oh, Somerset, New Jersey got royal fever. Spare by Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, is our current top read. Coming in a second is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. And are you reading something different? Tell us about it. But library Twitter is still here. I hadn't checked in on them in a while, but Spare is still high in New Jersey. So library Twitter is happening. Of course, Spare is still number 1 in the UK, Canada, Germany, Portugal. US is number 3. Number 1 in audio. That's in hardback. Number 1 in audio, though. Straight through. Number 1 in audio. So awesome, Spare. And it's so funny. I was just looking at Twitter just before I came on, and I had already pulled this stuff in, so I didn't get a chance to pull it in. But I was reading Goodreads, and it said that because of the success of Spare, books, memoirs, like sale of memoirs have risen. I think it was 19%. I could be wrong. I will get the correct information if this is wrong tomorrow. But I think it says because of its Spare success, the sale of memoirs have risen 19%. So Harry is doing a great thing for books everywhere. I know booksellers are thrilled, ecstatic to see books flying off the shelf, and credit to Prince Harry's book. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. They just bring people to do things that, maybe they've fallen back on or whatever. But yeah, Spare is doing fantastic. So kudos, Prince Harry. And, Archwell. I always love when Archwell remembers that they have a website, so they update it. So they have been very good the last 2 weeks, I have to say. Sometimes I complain because sometimes they tend to forget that they have a website that they need to update. So we can talk about it. So they updated it. So just in case you didn't get a chance to see this, African Park Rangers run the London Marathon. That's right, because Prince Harry is the president of African Parks. So they are having runners from, I guess, workers and people from African Parks. They're going to be taking part in the London Marathon. So they have been training, and so they're going to be there. And also it's actually also part of a fundraiser. So I'm going to move my little scrolly thing in the bottom. If you have not subscribed to our channel, if you're new here and have not subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button at the bottom of this video, and click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. And please like this video, share this video, and if you're able, join this channel. So I'm going to remove this, my banner, and then we will chat about that later. Hang on, let's just move this banner here so we can, there we go. We can see the whole thing, and I'll bring it back later. Anyway, so Archwell posted this. It says, on April 23rd, Team African Parks, comprised of a team of park rangers from across the continent, will run the London Marathon to raise awareness and support for conservation NGO. Prince Harry has served as president of African Parks since 2017 and most recently visited several parks in August 2022. We know we got pictures and we were excited about Harry being in visiting the African parks with several U.S. senators. And so that was wonderful. During the visit, he met with rangers from Mozambique, Rwanda, and Zambia. And they welcomed U.S. public officials, those are those senators, conservationists, and philanthropists, yeah, very rich people, to learn best practices in protected area management. Park rangers are the heartbeat of every park, and ensuring the safety and well-being of the people and the wildlife in and around the park, in and around the area. Each day, they deliver on African Park's mission to take on direct responsibility for the rehabilitation and long-term management of protected areas in partnership with governments and local communities. The team of rangers selected to run the marathon have recently undergone training in Akagera National Park in Rwanda. So they have been training in Rwanda. They've undergone it, so I guess they're done. But they're going to be April 23rd in London, taking part in the London Marathon. And they're also, as part of this, they're also doing a fundraiser to benefit the parks, to benefit, I guess, them as well, on their trip. So I'm going to put the link in the show notes, and you can read all about it. I'm going to put the link to the fundraiser in the show notes. As you can see, they've raised 2,513 pounds, 2,513 pounds. So if you're able and would like to support these men and women, maybe, who would be taking part of the London Marathon from African Parks, definitely go over there and support them if you are able. If you're not able, totally fine. Don't have to. But if you're able and interested in supporting them financially, definitely jump over. The link would be in the show notes. So there. And it's, and if you're over in Archwell as well, the link is there as well. So you can have it wherever you want to. What else is happening in the world? Oh, moving over to Shutter Island. Someone on Twitter posted this photo, and I forgot to put who it was that posted this photo, and I busted out laughing when I saw this, because one of the things that they posted, like, King Charles is wearing all of these medals, and he has earned not one of them, and it's just like, it's like he raided the Halloween costume shop. And it's just like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've seen in a long time. I mean, if you thought Edward wearing a bunch of chocolate medals, I mean, this is chocolate medals and then some. It's just like, what is happening here? Real generals and stuff in armed forces never look like this. They're like, it's very simple what they wear. They never wear all this stuff. And it's just like, man, this is like costume jewelry overload. I just like, I couldn't help myself. I was just like, oh my Lord. I wouldn't even begin to try reading what all these things are, because I know he didn't earn any of them. So it doesn't really matter. So just look at it, laugh at it, and move on. There you go. Moving on. Yes, moving on to this, talking about King Charles. So today was Easter service, and so they all went to Easter service at, I think it's called St. George Chapel. I think it's the same chapel that, I think that's where Harry and Meghan were married, I think. And also St. George's Chapel, I think. And then also the Queen and her husband and ancestors, I guess, were all buried downstairs. That place is so freaky to me. I'm like, I can't even imagine going into a church and knowing that bodies are buried under. I'm like, oh, no wonder Harry called this, like, is my family a death cult? I was just like, that is just so creepy to me. It's like, ew. But anyways, yeah, so that's where they went for Easter service, and they're all smiling. But for me, my only interest in this photo is who is hanging, who is walking along with King Charles and Camilla and Princess Anne. And is who else right up front leading the way is Prince Andrew. And it's so funny. We've talked about this before, about how the royal family grooms people. They do the same thing. The tabloid do the same thing. They will hammer home a point and talk about it until the public, they basically wear the public down. So when they're ready to bring this out in full, the public is so worn down, there will be no outrage, which is what they've been doing with Prince Andrew since the Queen was alive. You'll see them bring him out a little bit and there would be an outrage and they'll pull him back. They'll send him out again to do something a little public and then there'll be more outrage and then they'll pull it back. And then they keep doing this. I mean, again, they've been doing this for over 2 years. They even send the Archbishop out talking about, oh, let's forgive Andrew. There must be forgiveness. I was like, well, Andrew never confessed to anything. So unless you confess to something, there is no forgiveness because you never admit you did anything wrong. So there can be no forgiveness in it, even if people were, inclined to forgive. He never admitted to anything. And so, yeah, you see all of these, and him out front at King when Prince Philip was when he died and he was doing an interview, and people are outraged and they pull him back. And so what they've been doing with Andrew the whole time is like little by little by little, they're grooming the public and grooming the public and grooming the public until when he starts doing full-on engagements again, the public would be so tired, there will be no outrage at all. And case in point, there's Andrew today, out front with King Charles and Camilla and Queen Anne, and there has been no outrage. They've gotten to the British people to a point now where there's just no outrage. Like, oh yeah, it's Andrew. Okay. There's more outrage at Harry than Andrew. And so my thing has always been when it comes to Charles and Andrew, they're one in the same. I've said this from the day one. If you can accept King Charles, then you should be able to accept Andrew, because Charles is no different from Andrew. They are one in the same. They're equally horrible. And so what Charles has done the same thing. Talk about whether it's grooming or allegedly grooming. Hello, Princess Diana. Hello, she was a teenager. And so, of course, for Charles, no one has accused him of, rape or any of that stuff. But, think in terms of his relationship with Jimmy Savile and that, pedophile priest. I think his last name was something Ball. Ball was his last name. And, think about his relationship even with his uncle that, died in that bomb. It turns out he was also a pedophile. It's like these things, so you think about just the relationships they've had with, seedy people, pedophiles and all of that stuff. You think of just their relationship with, these nefarious characters in the Middle East and all of that. They are nefarious characters as well. They're one in the same. So my thing has always been like, look, if you can accept Charles as your king, then you should be able to just accept Andrew as well, because again, they're one in the same. But, the public has been like, no, Andrew, no, he should never go back to public duty, doing public engagements and all. I was like, no, they've been wearing you down and wearing you down and wearing you down. So by today, when you see him out there front with the king that's going to be crowned and on May 6th, there is no outrage because they've worn the public down. And so Peter Hunt today, he's one that always outs the royal family and just speaks the truth when they do their nonsense. He tweeted, says, nothing happens by chance with the royals. Next up for Andrew, the coronation, and then exactly, Peter, exactly. Andrew's coming back to be doing full-on royal to do engagements. Andrew knows where the bodies are buried in this family. They have to protect Andrew. Why? Because it protects them. Not because they're like, oh, it's my brother, so I love him. No. If you don't protect Andrew, you don't protect you. It's the reason why the Queen had to dole out all that money to bail him out of that lawsuit. Because you don't protect Andrew, you don't protect, again, Andrew and Charles are one and the same. So you don't protect Andrew. then you're basically just, destroying yourself. Because if Andrew wants to talk, I mean, they were mentioning like, oh, Andrew's going to write a book. Ooh. That would be interesting what he would be writing in that book. If he were to tell all, that would be very interesting. But anyway, yep. So they've groomed the public to a point in the tabloids, with the help of the tabloids, singing his, at least some of them singing slyly singing his praises. He's never been the one to out anyone in the royal family. So, he is back in the fold, as you can see. And William and Kate are in the background, and Andrew is leading the way there with Charles and Princess Anne. And when he's with Princess Anne, people love Princess Anne, so her grace is covering Andrew at the moment. Because if he's with Princess Anne, then for them it's like, okay, well, it's okay. So I'm telling you, unbelievable. And then they shared this picture of Andrew coming out of church. And it was very interesting seeing Andrew behind the bars. And thank you, Roy Slater, for noticing that and just hit that perspective. Roy Slater is somebody in the Indian. I don't know. He's not a squatty or anything. He's just something. But he says, out of all the photos of the royal family at Easter Sunday service, the one of Prince Andrew is the best, behind bars. Some would believe it's right where he belongs. Yes. And if you say there he is on the right, and that's William and little Louis there. Can they stop putting, on a side note, can they stop putting this child in these ridiculous shorts? Give the child some long pants. It's cold. Give him some long pants. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not cold in the UK today, but give the kids some long pants. I can't imagine Harry and Meghan putting their kid in these ridiculous short pants, but that's none of my business. Anyway, moving on. Back to Andrew. Him behind those bars, at least they're coming out of the church and saying hello to the priest or goodbye to the priest. And so when you zoom in, it's just Andrew behind those bars there on your right. And it's just like, that's the only bars you'll ever see Andrew behind, because royals will protect him because, one, he's not married to a black woman. Two, they need a scapegoat. So when and it seems Andrew is perfectly fine as long as he is in the royal fold. He seems perfectly fine to be the scapegoat. So there you go. So I guess they've embraced their scapegoat. They've, I guess, decided that Harry and Meghan are no-goes right now. So there you go. They got their scapegoat, and he seemed happy to be back in the fold. So there. And it's just very interesting, him holding on to those bars, man. And people like, oh, Andrew. Oh, very, very funny. Anyways, moving on. And so Peter Hunt was like, William's reticence tells its own stories, because because Andrew and Charles and Camilla and Princess Anne were going up front. They were like, because and then when you look at the videos, the people posted clips of them walking to the church. You could see William and Kate hanging in the back. They were like, the back is like almost like they didn't want to be a part of Andrew, and so his William's reticence is tells its own story. I'm like, that's just in private. I guarantee you, William is completely fine with Andrew. I mean, there's Andrew. Yes, it's going to the Queen, when she died. Yes. But William and him and, Ford Fiesta and her husband, they all took the flight and left Harry. So William was perfectly fine to be with Andrew. He, much preferred Andrew than, respond to his own brother to, have his brother come on the flight. Harry had to get his own way, find his own way there. And so it's just very interesting. They're like, this idea. And I think the thing is, Peter Hunt and so many others have all this faith that William is so different from Charles, and he's so different. No, William is fighting for what is right. And it's like, no, he's not. This is the same William who threw his own mother under a bus. You know what I mean? William, I guarantee you have no problems with Andrew. None. People just have this idea that William, is like William doesn't want to have anything to do with Andrew, that he's the one responsible for kicking Andrew out of, wanting Andrew to get kicked out of his house so he could. I mean, I don't believe any of those things. Yes, William, I'm sure he wants, Andrew's house, but I'm sure William has no problem with Andrew. Yes, he pretends like that in public, but that's for the royals. I mean, that's what they do. So it's just like, William knows that, he knows the optics, and he knows that a lot of people would disagree with Andrew coming back and being a full-time royal. So he's in public, I'm sure he's like, I want to just, so nobody takes my photo with Andrew. That's more like that. But I'm sure, I don't, at least I don't know them personally, and I've never been around them. So, but from what I'm seeing, the Royals are perfectly fine with Andrew. They are perfectly fine with him. So, yeah, sorry, Peter. Disagree with you on that one. Anyways, staying on King Charles. I had to laugh when I saw this. The coronation is happening, and so of course we know that they dropped, the invitation and all of that stuff. So this is Max Foster. Max Foster is a royal correspondent on CNN, and so Max Foster, they brought on Max Foster to talk about the coronation and also to talk about I guess all the flowers, those odd flowers around the invitation. And so Max Foster started describing the thing, and it's just like even he got bored with it. He's like, CNN royal correspondent drops a truth bomb Wednesday morning, cutting off a discussion of the intricacies of the coronation invitation for King Charles III by admitting it risks boring the audience to death. Thank you, Max, for being so self-aware to understand that all of that nonsense will bore the audience to death. And yeah, he was like, I don't know how, much you want to get into it, but yeah, at the risk of boring everyone to death, he went into a little bit of it. And then that's when he's like, this is risking boring people. But he said Master went into a discussion of the symbols representing the invitation's design, which he described as containing so much significance, including flowers in groups of 3, because Charles is the 3rd British king with the name, and the little green man, that was an ancient mythical British figure representing rebirth and the new reign of Charles, and a unicorn, a bull, a lion from Charles and Camilla's coat of arms. And by the time he got here, now you understand why he's like, at the risk of boring everyone to death. I was like, yeah, this is all like, even this was too much. Like, you could have stopped by, by the time they said including groups, flowers in groups of 3, you could have literally stopped there. Like, this is just boring. So very, it was very good to see a British reporter being self-aware. Normally they're not. And so it was very good to see they're like, yeah, no, this is boring. I am bored talking about it. So you're going to be bored. So at least he was honest. Again, Max Foster was actually honest. That is a big deal. Max Foster is usually lying about something. So him being honest, that's a big deal. Good for you, Max. Keep up the truth. Talk about said coronation invitation. Can we just talk about these? I saw this. I was like, are these people crazy? And just so we're clear, I'm not putting this up there to talk about people's face and what their face looks like and all of that stuff. I'm not into that. I'm not into coming down on people's looks. It's just not my thing. But I put this up there to talk about photoshopping. And I'm like, what on earth? I saw the picture that was released with said invitation, which if you haven't seen, is that on the right. And they released it with a picture at the top. And when you're zooming on the pictures, this is what you see. It's like real life on the left, and in the middle is the Instagram. You know how the Instagram, they put on these filters, and they take away all your lines and all your wrinkles and everything. And somehow, voila, you look 20 and 30 years younger. And I'm like, that's what they did to Charles and Camilla. I'm like, why would they accept this? Look at Camilla in real life and look at what they did to her the photo that they're using with the invitation. They took like 30 years off of her. I mean, probably more off of her face. And it's just like, woman, you have wrinkles. Celebrate your wrinkles. Celebrate, your age. Why? I don't understand why she would allow someone to do that. Because I'm thinking, girl, you look at this long enough, you might shock yourself when you go in the mirror because all of a sudden you're going to be seeing lines that you didn't see in your Instagram shot. What must that do to your confidence when you look in the mirror? I'm like, are you serious? Look at this. They have completely, talk about lightening the photo as well. I mean, that is like white. They have whited out all her wrinkles. Every line in her face is gone. She's like 30 years younger. And it's just like, you don't look like this. 30 years ago, maybe. I mean, even 30 years ago, I've seen pictures that didn't look like this. That will be photoshopped to look like this. And it's one of those things that is always bother me, like what your real life look like and what your Instagram, you've seen those Instagram photos when you see the person in real life and then you see the Instagram. This is exactly this. Charles looked like 10 years younger. And it's just like, why would you allow this though? Because then people go online and they're like, where are your wrinkles? Where are your lines? You're 70. What is it? She's like 75, I think, and he's like 73, so whatever their ages are. I'm like, why would you allow this though? I mean, I don't grudge someone want, a little touch up here or there, want to make themselves look nice or whatever. But this is like literally taking 30 years off your life. It is so fake. It's unbelievably fake. And it just goes along with the royal family, the fakeness in the royal family, with Charles, with all of his chocolate medals that he never earned, that just looks like a whole bunch of mishmash he's wearing. Like, again, like you raided a, Halloween costume shop. And then you come and you see, I mean, how could you take the royal family seriously when this is what you're presenting? Yes, beautiful photos, but they're not real. They're not you. They don't represent you. Because where is your face? That's not you. And I don't understand why they approve this. And notice nobody is saying a thing. And it's like, oh, they look so beautiful. I'm like, yeah. Because they've been photoshopped into within an inch of their lives. This is not them. This was them. Again, this was never really Camilla because she never looked like this in real life. This is photoshopped and altered and giving a fake presentation. And then, that's the invitation at the bottom that, Max Foster was trying to. I'm like, why would you even bother? It's like, for me, it's just a mishmash of things. It's like, oh, whatever, moving on. Just moving on, But it's so fake. And this is the thing with the royal family. And that's why we have the royal rota, because they could present this fake stuff. And now since their so-called legit press, nobody is raising an issue with this, that none of this is real. And so they've all bought into the fakeness of it. I'm like, how could you see a picture like this and not be like, lady, you have wrinkles and lines. Sir, Charles, look at your forehead. Where are the lines on your forehead? It's like whited out completely. Where are your lines? And it's just unbelievable to me that they would accept this. But anyways, moving on. Talk about fake. Peter Hunt again. This is like Peter Hunt's day. Peter Hunt posted this. He said, this makes a mockery of Prince William's campaigning conservation work to stop the illegal trafficking of animal parts. He'll be furious. And what will William be furious about? Well, those thingies that Camilla will be using for the coronation. It says, Camilla will be crowned as previously announced with the modified Queen Mary's crown, but she will also hold the Queen Consort's rod of dove. despite controversial rod being made from ivory. That's right, ivory. We know where that comes from. Elephant tusks and rhino, I think rhino tusks as well. Yeah. And so it says pieces is said to symbolize equity and mercy, and the dove with its folding wings represents the Holy Ghost. Okay, whatever. But this thing is made out of ivory. Guess who campaigns and who is the patron of Tusk? Prince William. Prince William has been advocating to get rid of, to tamp down on illegal, people trading and killing animals for their tusk and all of that stuff. And he has been supposedly campaigning for this. Yet this is the very thing Camilla will be using for her coronation. She'll be using this thing made of ivory. And in 2014, as you can see on the right, this Guardian article, in 2014, Prince William calls for Buckingham Palace Prince William calls for Buckingham Palace ivory to be destroyed. Duke of Cambridge follows Charles's lead in urging the removal of all ivory in the 1,200 item royal collection, according to reports. That's right. 1,200 items, the royal collection. There are 1,200 items made of ivory. And so 2014, by the way, Prince William was calling for that to be destroyed. This came up again last year with ivory. And I actually literally tweeted this, as you can see at the bottom. August 18, I tweeted, does Buckingham Palace / the royal family still own 1,200 items made from ivory or elephant tusk or elephant teeth? Prince Charles moved out of sight the ones he had at Clarence House. That's right. He moved them out of sight. Didn't destroy them. He just moved them out of sight. Are those 1,200 items made of ivory still a part of the royal collection? I tweeted this last year. Do they still have that 1,200? What about the ones that King Charles, as you can see, Prince William called for it to be destroyed. And instead of destroying it, Prince Charles, or King Charles now, did what he always does, hide them so nobody can see them. So we know at least one is there because what? Camilla's going to be using one of those ivory items at the coronation. And now they're like, oh, no, but you don't understand. It symbolizes equity and mercy. And the dove with its folded wings represent the Holy Ghost. Hallelujah. Right. They didn't destroy the 1,200 pieces of ivory that were supposed to destroy. Mind you, they're calling for other people to destroy theirs and not go hunting and killing animals to get their tusks to make ivory. Their ivory, whatever they're using the ivory for, they're calling for other people to stop. They're not. They have not destroyed these items. And we know that because Camilla is using one, and she's doing it at the coronation in front of the world. Meanwhile, again, Prince William is the patron of Tusk that advocates against destroying animals and hunting animals for their tusk. Again, the fakery, the so-called advocacy that the royal family, everything about these people is fake. So when Peter is like, oh no, this will make a mockery of Prince William's campaigning conservation work to stop illegal trafficking of animal parts, he'll be furious. Yeah, right. Sure, Peter. Sure. This is the same family that advocates for the environment. Oh my gosh, the environmental advocates. Prince William has earthshot, and Charles has been campaigning for the environment since, the Stone Ages. Yet they're in a country right now, literally, people are pumping raw sewage into the ocean, into the waters. Just about all the waterways in the UK is sewage. People will be bathing in sewage. And the royal family has not said one word. Prince William has not said one word. King Charles has not said one word about raw sewage being pumped into the waters. People are again going to be bathing in filth, in caca. And these so-called environmental activists have not said one word. So don't tell me that Prince William is going to be furious about this. He's not going to say one word. He's not going to say a word about it. Because all of their so-called advocacy is fake. It's always been fake. Anyway, moving on. I mean, it's just the royal fakery is just I'm telling you, staying on Shutter Island, moving on a little bit away from those royals to this one. I'm sure you guys have seen this the last couple of days. Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols, his wife, turns out his wife had Alzheimer's, and he's been, taking care of her for 5 decades, really, taking care of his wife with Alzheimer's. And so she passed away. And it's so funny. It's one of those things you want, in any of these situations, you want to, definitely reach out, you want to, at least your heart want to empathize with the person. And then you realize this is the person that has been saying all these nasty things about Harry and Meghan. And one of the things I realized with a lot of these people in the UK who are the nastiest, the Harry and Meghan, have the most miserable lives. It's like they have these miserable lives, and instead of focusing and trying to figure out, their lives and all of that stuff, they basically come and dump their nastiness on the Sussexes. You see that so many of them, so many of these people who have been nasty to Harry and Meghan are either being divorced, they're sick, so many things. I mean, look at what he was saying about Harry and Meghan. Sex Pistol Johnny Rotten calls Harry, Meghan parasites. Tell them to shut them out and go work for McDonald's. Johnny Rotten brands privacy shy Meghan and Harry parasites. And it's just like, I mean, look at, he was on, they said he was on Piers Morgan Uncensored. And it's just like, I mean, I don't know what other things he talked about. I mean, if you're going to be on Piers Morgan, of course, he's going to, you're going to be talking about Harry and Meghan at some point because of, his obsession with them. And we'll get back to Piers Morgan in a second. But it's like, these people they're just the most miserable people that, like, on the planet. It's just the nastiness that they just spew out. And so for me now, whenever I see people like this, it's like, I know they just have miserable lives. And so instead of, trying to get some joy for themselves, they tend to come on, especially like, people who were famous in the past, wanting to get some sense of relevance again. They come and pick on Harry and Meghan to get some, temporary something, and it's the nastiness. And then only to find out, yeah, look at, you're taking care of your wife with Alzheimer's for all these years, and it's just, it's like it's like misery loves company. They're miserable. So let me make other people who seem to be having a great life, let me make them miserable along with me. And it's just like, oh, and I mean, again, he suffered a death. So, I mean, I don't want to, belabor this, but, but it's just, you just see this stuff all the time. And so, again, I don't want to, like karma, because, again, his wife passed away. So, I want to show a little empathy. But, again, I want to show it's just like all of these people, They're just miserable. It's like an island of a misery, an island of just miserable people that just want everyone else to be as miserable as they are. And so, I wish him well. I wish him, that somehow he could get to be a better person and be, find some joy in his life, because gosh, that, yeah. So I wish him that. So, and condolence to his family members, who again grieving this loss. So, anyways, moving on. I read across this New York Times article, and don't be fooled. This is actually New York Times. They have created a New York Times front page to look like the New York Post. This is what the New York Post would look like. And this is their interface. And so they created this to look like that, and to talk about Rupert Murdoch and the mess that his empire, and especially Fox News, is in, because they're being sued for billions of dollars because of what they did and the lies that their reporters told about Dominion, which is they have own the voting machines that people voted with last election. And then there was this whole lie that Trump and all his people, really a lot of it fueled by Fox News. And that's Rupert Murdoch, people. And the New York Post is also Rupert Murdoch owned. So whenever you see stuff from the Post, just know, especially I think they still have a British editor, so they're always attacking the Sussexes. And so the New York Times, that's why they created this their front page to look like the New York Post, and it reads "Outfoxed," and it says Rupert Murdoch built an empire by giving his audience exactly what it wanted. What it wanted: election lies and insurrection. Has now put that empire and the country in peril. And I've been tweeting this forever. It's like Rupert Murdoch and democracy cannot coexist. You have to get rid of Rupert Murdoch's entire empire. You have to get rid of News Corp if democracy is going to stand, especially in this country. We are literally holding on by threads, like by the little pieces of our fingernails. We're holding on to democracy here. I mean, it is going. I mean, even the last couple of days in Tennessee, their legislature, they expelled two representatives who were elected officials. They expelled them, and they can't serve anymore unless they are that they are reelected to be able to go back into it. That is so undemocratic. These are people they were elected by their communities in Memphis, and and it's just like it's incredible what is happening. And the Republican Party is all bought into all of this, and they not bought so much bought into all of this, but they are Fox News is basically just feeding off of that, and then they're coming up with their own lies. And it's just, this country is an absolute mess because so many people have been buying into the lies of Fox News. And if you pay attention to the court case, one of the things that comes out of the court case is that nobody at Fox really believe any of the lies that they're telling people. They know the truth. They knew Trump was lying. They've known all of this, that because of the communication between themselves, that is all now because of discovery. Dominion, who is suing them, was able to get all of their communications, whether it's by phone or emails or text or whatever. They have everything, and that's been all of it being exposed. That a lot of the people, like Tucker Carlson and all those people, they would come on the air and tell their audience all these lies, while behind the scenes, they don't believe any of the lies that Trumps were telling. But they would come and feed that to the public, and the public's been buying into the lies. And it's been a whole mess. And so, I mean, this country is literally falling apart. And one of the root causes is Rupert Murdoch's media. And the lies, the misinformation, the disinformation, I mean, everything. And I'm like, if this country does not get rid of this, we will not have a democracy here. We will be lucky if we get it by next election. Lucky if it's still a democracy by next. It is ridiculous the things that they're doing back. It is like rolling back to Jim Crow era. Like they are taking books off of shelf. I mean, it is just craziness that is happening. And one of the root causes is Rupert Murdoch's media and the Republican Party. And it is just unbelievable. So I'm like, yeah, this country, again, would be lucky if democracy is still here by the next election. And whew, goodness. Anyways, moving on. Talking about Rupert Murdoch and Piers Morgan, we'll come back to Piers Morgan. You know, one of the narratives in the last couple of weeks, especially since Harry did obviously with Spare, and then he did the interview with Dr. Mattei when they did that conversation. The UK, especially their media, has been up in arms because Harry spoke very openly about drugs, and he spoke openly about those that helped him and the drugs that help him and those that don't. And he never, he didn't put down drugs or whatever. He just, at least he said, like, for example, cocaine never helped him. But he talked about different psychedelics and stuff that has helped him in the past. And he also in Spare talked about, in the US, smoking weed in the US. And so the British press, especially this organization that one of the head is one of these Meghan haters who was a Margaret Thatcher. He used to work at Margaret Thatcher. And he is just this obsessive. I mean, he is like Piers Morgan and Dan Wooten together on drugs, or on speed or something. I mean, this guy is just sick. He's like a troll of trolls. That's how sick he is. I mean, if you think Piers Morgan has tweeted about the Sussexes, this guy probably 4 times more. It is sick, and so now just anytime I see his stuff and I see people replying, they're all calling out his obsession and his sickness. And so they have been like, applying to get Harry's records, immigration records, because, it's like, oh, and, how, did he lie on his immigration form? And you know the whole bit that they've been doing. So one of the things is like, Piers Morgan and all of the British press have been going on and on about about Harry's drug, if he lied on his immigration and all of that stuff. So one of the things that I didn't, I knew some of Piers Morgan's past, but this I didn't know. Maria Brazen Hussey, and I'm telling you, leave it to a squatty to find this stuff. Sussex squad is better than the FBI. I say this all the time. Maria Brazen Hussey, the Brazen Hussey, as you can see on the right, she tweeted this. She says, what did Piers Morgan put on his visa application after admitting he was a drug addict? I was like, what? I never knew that part. She goes on to say, Piers Morgan has a home in LA. Very true. Will they also look into his visa application? And then she posted this, as you can see on the right, it says, from an article, a Mail Online article from 2008. And it says, Piers Morgan, why I had to tell my kids I did drugs. As he celebrates a lucrative deal to be a new parquee, Piers Morgan talks about divorce, his gorgeous lover, and the joys of being famous, and the shame of his drug past. That's right. Piers Morgan has a drug past. And he definitely has a home in LA because he's talked about it before, and he's, definitely been in the US. And so it begs the question, what did Piers Morgan put on his visa? Was he honest on that visa that says that yes, he was a past drug addict, that he did drugs in the past? Was he honest on that? And again, Piers Morgan is one of the people who has been going after Harry about his visa and about him using drugs. And here it is. I mean, the hypocrisy is unbelievable. And again, this was 2008 on the left. It says on a Metro article from 2019, it says Piers Morgan has spoken about the time he smoked marijuana with boxer Mike Tyson. He revealed it was his only time, the only time he's done drugs. That's right. This was in he actually did this interview with Mike Tyson a month earlier. It was actually in May, but this the only people that wrote about it in May was like the Daily Mail and the Sun and stuff, and I didn't want to use theirs. So Metro wrote it, and not that Metro is better. I think it's also part of Associated Newspaper, I think. But Metro wrote about it, and it says that Piers Morgan revealed when he smoked pot with Mike Tyson in May 2019, it was the only time he had done drugs. The past few weeks has seen a number of drug-related revelations made public, but the Good Morning Britain host has only tried them once. Tried marijuana, he said once. In an interview with Radio Times, the boxing fan said he launched a marijuana ranch in California, or actually Mike Tyson has a marijuana ranch. And so I had one puff with Tyson because it was legal there. And it just, again, in the article, it says that he revealed that it was his only time doing drugs. As we just looked at on the right, in 2008, Piers Morgan said in 2008, why I had to tell my kids I did drugs. So before 2008, he had to come clean with his kids that he was a drug addict. Yet this article is saying that in 2019, he's claiming that the only time he's ever done drugs is when he smoked pot with Mike Tyson. Now, he might be saying, the only time I've ever smoked pot, but it's definitely not the first time he's done drugs when he's had to confess to it before 2008. The article goes on to say, after the event, he told Mail Online, whatever your side of the debate about marijuana, I view it as less dangerous than alcohol or cigarettes. I've never seen a happier, calmer Mike Tyson. And so here he is, he's not downing pot at all. He's like, look, whatever you think about it, I've never seen Mike Tyson happier, and I've never seen him calmer. So pot works for him, which is Harry's thing. I mean, Harry's also in California, which pot is legal there. You can use pot. Just, tons of people in California use it. They, especially it's from, they use it for especially medicinal purposes, So, and again, it's just, this is the same person who is going after Harry about his drug use. And so I had to dig and dig and dig to try to find this article. It is hidden. You can't just pull it up. It is hidden. If you don't have the link to it, you can't find it. And so even though it's on the site, it is hidden, where if you punch, normally you could put in Daily Mail, Piers Morgan, why I told my kids I did drugs. You will not find it. I ran into one that was a People article that was completely, the link is there. When you click the link, the article is no longer there. And then you can't go back and find that People link again. And so thankfully, someone had posted the link of this on Twitter, and that's how I was able to find it. I couldn't even find it in the archives, nothing. So again, it is there, but it's hidden. So if you don't know where to look, you will not find it. And I will put the link in the show notes so you can find it, so you can read it yourself. But it says, Piers Morgan, why I had to tell my kids I did drugs. Again, this was from 2008. It says, so the reporter was asking him, different things like, tell us about your sex life, whatever. And his thing was like, no, you don't kiss and tell. And she's like, drugs. And so when she said drugs, he says, my advice is never answer that one. So hide it. Always hide if you've done drugs. He said, my advice is to never answer that one. He says, playing for time. And the journalist or the reporter says, this is the editor, Piers Morgan, of course, who lost a privacy case to Naomi Campbell after running an article about her attending Narcotics Anonymous. We've talked about this on this podcast before when we talked about Piers Morgan, about him running these articles and invading people's privacy. When he invaded Naomi Campbell's privacy, when she was, attended Narcotics Anonymous, and also he invaded Princess Diana's brother's first wife, I think, when she went to get help as well. He did the same thing. And so Naomi sued him and won for invasion of privacy. And what happened when they went to court with that is he thought they were going to ask him about, if he did drugs and stuff like that. So it's the article goes on to say Pierce would hate to be accused of hypocrisy. Pierce, he says, I've taken drugs before. It's no big secret. I'm not going to go into precise details, but I've told my kids I've taken them. When the Naomi Campbell case came up, I thought I was going to be asked that in court. So the only reason he came clean about his drug use is that he thought he was going to be asked that in court. So I said to my parents and my kids, look, I took drugs in the past when I was young. When I was a young, thrusting journalist, it seemed as freely available in the newsroom as a cup of tea. But I don't do it anymore, and I haven't in a very long time. He goes on to say, when you have kids, you've got to be careful what you say in public. I don't want my children thinking it's cool. When I said what I said to them, look, guys, I've known a lot of people who've taken drugs in their lives, and the winners stop and the losers carry on. If you remember that, you'll be fine. I'm not proud of taking drugs, and I'm not going to take them again. I work out that make you feel, I don't know, crap, I guess. What are you saying at the bottom? Look, if he is telling the truth that he has not taken it since, that he told them he's not going to do it again. But as we saw, this was in 2008. We saw, even though he said here that, he told them he's not going to take something that happened in the past. He took drugs in the past because in the newsroom, it was as free. Everybody did it. It was like a cup of tea. So you can just use drugs as you like in the newsrooms. And, but according to him, it was a long time ago. He's not going to do it again. And he's like, I'm not proud of what I did, so, and he's like, well, didn't want my kids thinking it was okay to do that. But it's very interesting to me because he says here that he's not going to do it again. Yet, the moment Mike Tyson offered him pot, his response was like, when in Rome. And so he was totally free. And yes, pot is legal in California, but it's still a drug. It is still a drug, even though it's legal. And so for me, when he says he's not going to do it again, he'd never take them again, it's hard for me to believe that. Because so easily, just because Mike Tyson was a star, he went right along and took it. So what's to say this has not been the pattern? If he's interviewing some rich person that he wants to impress, which is his whole life is wanting to get photos and wanting to talk to famous people and stuff, that's how he gets clout and that's what he lives for. Who is to say that, he hasn't done other stuff? I mean, I don't have any evidence for this but look at how easily Mike Tyson was able to give him pot and he take it, and not only did he take it, when you read the article, Mike Tyson also gave him pot to take with him as gifts. And he took it. And so it's very interesting, again, the absolute hypocrisy of Piers Morgan to be attacking Harry about his drug use, yet not revealing his own drug past. And not only that, trying outing people when they're going to get help. Again, Naomi Campbell was going to Narcotics Anonymous to get help with whatever it is she was on. And he is outing her and not revealing the fact that, one, why were you outing someone going to get help for drug addiction? And two, you're doing that and not revealing the fact that you, too, was a druggie. And the only reason you come clean about it is because you thought when she sued you, you thought they were going to ask you about it in court. So that's why he came clean to his parents and his kids. So my question is, did Pierce Morgan answer truthfully on his visa? Because, he has a house in California. He had to have a visa or something to be, to be able to purchase a house here because, like, again, he lives here part of the time, especially comes in summer vacation, all of that stuff. This is where he is a lot of time in LA. Was he truthful on his visa about his past drug use? And so it's very interesting to me that you see that so often with royal reporters. Is like whenever they are accusing someone of it, just go back and dig into their past, and you realize they have done the same thing and worse a lot of times. And so it just, I'm telling you, these people are unbelievable. Again, thank you so much to the squatty who found this. I would have never known. Again, Maria Brazen Hussey, thank you so much for digging this up, because this is so hidden. I almost gave up trying to find this article, even though she posted the little screenshot here. I couldn't find the article, and I had to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig to try to find it. And so thank you. And again, I appreciate just the detective skills of the squad to be able to find these receipts. So, God knows what we'll find out if we go digging for the other reporters who have all been carping on this thing like, oh, Harry's going to get deported, whatever, And it's just like, but look at your own past, though. Talk about lack of self-awareness and just scheming and hiding your own issues and attacking someone when you are the same or worse, probably. Unbelievable. Anyways, moving on from this nonsense. Finally, something positive, back to the positives. Invictus Games says, Invictus Games event is a fantastic experience, veteran says. This was on the BBC, and of course, yes, it is. A veteran who is set to compete in his second Invictus Games has said taking part was a fantastic experience. The event, which features wounded, injured, and sick service military personnel and veterans, will be held in Düsseldorf, Germany in September. He goes on to say, he said, having won 2 bronze medals in the last games, which was surreal, he was looking forward to the tournament. And the former warrant officer added that the event was uplifting for those involved as it gave focus after some hard times. And this is the thing. This is, you see this a lot. They say this a lot about how, especially, I think the last episode we talked, one veteran who's also going to be competing for the UK team talked about, what it is when you are on active duty and you always have a goal, something to go forward to. And then all of a sudden you get injured and then you are, discharged really. And then your whole life implodes because there's nothing, the adrenaline isn't there, the goal to reach for every day isn't there. And then, so it really affects people so negatively. And so being the Invictus Games now has really transformed him to where it's like, okay, every day now I have a goal. I have something to shoot forward to, something to focus on. And so it's just, you hear the story all the time, and it's just so amazing that, again, thank you, Prince Harry, and all of the Invictus team for the incredible work you're doing to help these veterans. It just, and serving servicemen as well who are taking part of it, of Invictus, and not just the games, but all of the other things, for sport activities that you could take part in, even if you're not part of the games, even if you weren't selected to be in the games. Invictus is so much more than just the games. I mean, just about every day or month, whatever, they have something that someone could participate in, some sport that they could participate that could help with healing. So it is just awesome. So I look forward to seeing I definitely look forward to seeing him at the games, and also the other wonderful servicemen and women that's going to be veterans that's going to be a part of the game. So we're all looking forward to it. And September in Dusseldorf, Germany. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Trish, Nelly, Karen, M, Cookies and Cream. Thank you all so much for the incredible work, as usual, that you do to make sure that our space is safe. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to put back our banner so that you can see and our brand so that it's there. There you go. Again, thank you so much, guys. Just we couldn't do what we do without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you also to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis, financially support the channel. Thank you so much for your donations. And yeah, your monthly membership really helped help me to be able to pay for the things that I need to pay for to make sure this podcast is up. So thank you so much. And our new 2 Cents crew member, Perlina Answer, thank you so much, Perlina. I'm so happy you've joined the 2 Cents crew. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all our other 2 Cents crew members here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. And also to our Gold Star supporters who support in the chat. You'll see whether it's super thanks, super stickers, super chats, or straight donations. And some of you support via PayPal and Cash App. Thank you so much. And also you support via merchandise. I appreciate every single one of you and all that you've done to support the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we also do have merchandise if you're interested in purchasing some Facts into some Sense merchandise. All the links are in the show notes, so definitely just check it out there and you can do that as well. So I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. And again, if you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe. Click the notification bell both of you can see at the bottom of this video. Click the notification bell so that you will know when we drop a video. You will be alerted. So yeah, and also like and share the video. Please give us a like. Please share it. That would be awesome. And if you're able, join the channel as well. Thank you guys so much again. I love you all. I miss you. I will be, Lord willing, doing a live tomorrow. That would be awesome to hang out again. I have not been able to do it for a couple of weeks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye. Happy Easter. Bye.